Every year, homeowners pour millions of dollars into landscaping advice that is flat out wrong. Money spent on products that don't work, and plants that die because of it. And here's the uncomfortable part nobody says out loud. A lot of these myths stick around precisely because somebody sells a product every time you believe one. There's a whole industry quietly profiting from what you don't know. So today I'm exposing 10 landscaping myths that are draining your wallet right now. The ones costing you money on stuff that actively makes your yard worse, and exactly what to do instead to keep that cash in your pocket. Stick around, because a couple of these are things you were told to buy that are secretly working against you. And be honest in the comments, how many of these have you fallen for? Let's start with the single biggest money trap in any garden center. Landscape fabric, the weed barrier cloth you roll out under your mulch to stop weeds forever. It's sold as a one-time fix, and it fails almost every time. Here's why. That fabric might block weeds for a season, but the mulch on top of it is slowly breaking down into a thin layer of soil, and once that happens, wind-blown weed seeds land on top of the fabric, root right into that layer, and grow like crazy, except now they're anchored through the fabric so you can't even pull them out cleanly. Surveys have found that around 3 out of 4 people who used landscape fabric said it failed to stop weeds after just 2 years. And it does worse than fail. It chokes off air and water to your soil, and the earthworms and microbes that keep your dirt alive suffocate and leave. So you paid good money for a product that killed your soil and didn't even stop the weeds. What actually works costs less and does more. Skip the fabric entirely and lay down a good thick 2 to 4 inch layer of natural mulch straight on the soil. The mulch alone smothers weeds, feeds your soil as it breaks down, and when a weed does pop up, it pulls right out. The fabric is the problem, not the solution. Save your money. Myth 2. If you see your plants wilting in the afternoon heat, they need water right now. Acting on that instinct wastes water and can actually kill the plant, so it hits your wallet twice. Here's what's really happening. On a brutally hot afternoon, a lot of plants, tomatoes are the classic example, droop and wilt on purpose as a defense to slow their water loss, even when there's plenty of moisture in the soil. So if you rush out and soak them, the roots end up sitting in hot, wet soil, and that combination of heat plus overwatering is far more damaging than heat and being a little dry. So don't react to afternoon wilting. Check the plant again early the next morning. If it's perked back up, it was just handling the heat, and it's completely fine. No water needed. If it's still wilted in the cool of the morning, that's your real signal to water. You'll save water, save money, and stop drowning the plants you were trying to rescue. Myth 3, and this one can cost you an entire tree, that you can control a tree's height by topping it, just sawing the whole top off. It does not work. It's usually something people pay a bad tree service to do, and it wrecks the tree. When you top a tree, it panics and shoots out a mass of weak, spindly sprouts right below the cut. Arborists have warned against this for more than 25 years, and those sprouts grow back fast, poorly attached and dangerous. So within a few years, the tree is right back to its old height, uglier, and far more likely to drop a heavy limb on your house or your car. Now you're paying again to fix it or remove it. If you genuinely need to reduce a tree's size, the right way is a reduction cut. Instead of lopping a branch off in the middle, you cut it back to a healthy side branch that takes over as the new tip. It keeps the tree's natural shape and its strength. Never pay anyone to top a tree. You're literally paying to damage it. Myth 4. If a plant is native to your area, you can stick it in the ground and forget about it because it needs no care. Believe this one and you'll be right back at the nursery buying replacements. The real benefit of a native plant is that once it's established, it needs far less water and maintenance than an exotic. But getting there is the catch. In that first season or two, a young native usually needs just as much attention and watering as anything else while it roots in. And here's the twist that kills them. Many natives are very easy to overwater, so people drown them with kindness. So plant natives for the long-term payoff, but baby them through that first year, then ease off. Do that and they thrive for years. Ignore them from day one and you're just buying them twice. Myth 5, another one the garden center loves. When you dig a hole for a new plant, fill it back in with rich, fluffy, bagged potting soil or heavy amendments to pamper the roots. Not only do you not need to buy those bags, doing it actually hurts the plant. It's called the bathtub effect. When you surround the root ball with soft, rich soil sitting inside a hole cut into denser native ground, water flows in and just sits there like a tub with no drain. And the roots love that easy soil so much they coil around inside the hole and never push out into the yard. You end up with a weak, waterlogged, root-bound plant. Soil scientists recommend the exact opposite, and it's free. Backfill the hole with the same native soil you dug out of it. The water drains evenly, the roots grow outward where they belong, and you keep the $20 you were about to spend on a bag of dirt to replace the dirt you already had. Myth 6. Fertilizer makes plants green and healthy, so more fertilizer must mean healthier plants. More fertilizer very often burns and damages your plants, so you're paying extra to hurt them. This is especially true of cheap synthetic fast-release fertilizers, which are basically concentrated mineral salts. Pile on too much and those salts pull the moisture right out of the roots and scorch the plant, leaving ugly yellow-brown burned edges. And it's worst in the summer heat, when the plant is already stressed. The healthier and cheaper move is to use less and to lean on gentle, slow-release or organic options that won't burn even in the heat. You'll spend less on product and your plants will actually look better. With fertilizer, more is not better. It's just more expensive damage. Myth 7. Every young tree you plant needs to be staked, so you buy the stakes and ties right along with it. For most trees, staking is a waste of money that actually makes the tree weaker. Here's the counterintuitive part, and the research is clear. A tree left to sway a little in the wind on its own develops a stronger, thicker, better tapered trunk. Studies have found unstaked trees ended up with over 20% thicker trunks and far fewer failures after just a few years. A staked tree grows tall, skinny, and dependent, and when you finally pull the stake, it can barely hold itself up. Research suggests only about 10 to 15% of newly planted trees actually need staking. The weak, top-heavy ones that truly can't stand on their own yet. So the default is, don't buy the stakes, don't stake it. If a tree genuinely can't stand up straight on its own, stake it loosely for 1 year only, then take it off. Most of the time, the stake is money you never needed to spend. Quick gut check before the last 3 because these are the ones that quietly cost the most. The mistakes that waste real money and separate a yard that thrives from one you're always fighting. And the very last one is the biggest money saver of all. So stick with me. Myth 8. When you cut a branch off a tree, you should seal the wound with that black tar, pruning paint, or sticky wound dressing to protect it. For decades, this was the standard advice. And it's backwards. You're paying for a product that causes the very rot it claims to prevent. A tree doesn't heal a cut the way our skin does. It seals the wound off from the inside. And it does that best when the cut is clean and simply left open to the air. Smear a sealant over it and that gunk cracks and traps moisture, which blocks the natural sealing and creates a cozy little pocket for rot, pests, and disease to move in. So for almost every tree, the best and cheapest thing you can do to a fresh, clean cut is nothing at all. There is one narrow exception. If you have to prune an oak or an elm during the growing season, a thin coat of latex paint over the cut can help keep out the beetles that spread oak wilt and Dutch elm disease. But for everything else, put the sealant back on the shelf. Myth 9. The one that quietly wastes the most plant money of all. That you start your landscape by picking out the plants you fall in love with. It's the most natural thing in the world. You spot a gorgeous plant at the nursery and build the whole yard around it. And it's exactly why so many yards end up a mismatched, struggling money pit. The plant should come last, not first. The pros work in the opposite order. First, they read the actual site: the sun, the shade, the soil, the drainage, the space. Then they get clear on how they'll use it and how much upkeep they'll honestly do. And only then do they choose plants that fit all of that. When you pick the plant first and force it in where it doesn't belong, it struggles, it dies, and you buy it again. When you pick it last, in response to the site, it thrives and you buy it once. Plan the space first, buy the plants last. That order alone saves you a small fortune in dead plants. And myth 10, the single biggest money saver on this whole list, that you need a big, perfectly manicured lawn, the deep green carpet, the tidy clipped hedges, for your yard to look good. You do not, and chasing that look can cost you more than anything else out here. A lawn is genuinely worth it if you actually use it. If your kids or your dog run and play on it, but if you've got a big front lawn that nobody ever sets foot on except to mow it, you're pouring water, fertilizer, gas, and hours every single week into a space purely out of habit. A front yard can look just as beautiful and cost a fraction to maintain as low-water planting beds, gravel and stone, ornamental grasses, a small courtyard, even edible garden space. So before you spend another dollar perfecting a lawn you never actually use, ask yourself what you really want that space to do. That one question can shrink your water bill, cut your workload, and make your yard look better, all at the same time. So let's run them back. 10 landscaping myths quietly draining your wallet. Landscape fabric doesn't stop weeds. Afternoon wilting doesn't always mean water. Topping ruins your trees. Natives still need early care. Backfill with the free native soil instead of a bag. More fertilizer just burns your plants. Most trees are stronger with no stake at all. Skip the wound paint. Plan the space before you buy the plants, and you don't need an expensive perfect lawn to have a beautiful yard. Notice the pattern. Nearly every one of these is spending money to make your yard worse. So dropping them saves you cash and gives you healthier plants at the very same time. If this saved you some money, do me a favor and hit subscribe. This is Yardworthy, where we cut through the myths and show you how to get the yard you want without wasting money. I'll see you in the next one.